All right. All right. This is that moment. We got to wait for it. Let's see. Are we live on the YouTube? I got to wait for both of them. There's a little bit of a lull and it looks like we're here. We're live on the YouTube. What's up everybody? Good morning. It's I did the morning first cuz it's totally morning where I'm at. I guess technically it's afternoon for some of y'all. If you're out on the East Coast, it's technically afternoon. What's up everybody? What's up? Welcome to the patron stream. And as you may know, I'm early. I'm very early. So, to all the Rockfin Premium and patrons, I apologize. This is not what we originally had scheduled. If you read the schedule this week, we're supposed to be going live at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. It is significantly earlier than that. And I am sorry. I had an urgent matter come up. Nothing bad. Everything's okay. But I had something relatively urgent come up that prohibited me from doing it at the regular time. So we're coming a little early today. I didn't want to have to cancel. So sorry about that. I'm sorry for any inconvenience this may cause. I'm sorry if anyone was hoping to catch it live and now you might not be able to. But you'll be able to catch the replay. Of course, if you are a patron, patreon.com/romplacode. Jesus Christ is risen today. Hallelujah. If you go to church, it will be longer, so pray. Hallelujah. There was darkness, now there's light. Hallelujah. Hopefully your family doesn't fight. Hallelujah. Ooh. Happy Easter if that's your thing, or happy Passover, or if you don't celebrate anything, happy whatever. Happy whatever you celebrate or don't. Happy. Today is Easter. I'm not a religious guy. I don't really celebrate anything, but I was raised Catholic, and I remember, man, one of my most prominent Easter memories. Oh, sorry, I need some water. This is coffee. This is early for me, folks. It is 9 a.m. where I am. And again, if you're just logging in, the reason we're early today is because I had something urgent come up. I'm not going to be able to stream at the regular time. So I decided to just stream early before I have to tend to said urgent matter. So anyway, many years ago, I was an altar server as a kid. I was an altar server, and this was at Easter, and I was lighting these candles before the service starts. You have to light these candles, and they would have the altar servers do that. It was kind of weird when I think about it now as an adult, and I wonder if it's still this way. I guess it probably is, but we had to do. I mean, we had to light incense and we had to light these matches and we carried these heavy crosses. Like you carried this cross that was like symbolic, like you would carry it, which was just weird in and of itself, but you would carry it down the aisle and then you would put it in this holder that was kind of difficult for, a 9-year-old. And then if the communion wine wasn't finished, you would have to finish it. So basically, they were like, "Hey, you're 9 years old. Drink this wine and play with these matches. What can possibly go wrong here?" I mean, it's almost like you're inviting trouble. Like when you think about it, I'm surprised there weren't more issue. Well, I mean, there are a lot of issues in other departments, but you know what I mean, like pyro related issues. Or you never really heard about that much. But anyway, I was lighting a candle like you do, and I burnt my finger. I was burning my finger. And as my flesh was burning, I said the first word that came to my mind, which was fuck. I said fuck. And didn't get any laughs. No laughs. This was before the service started, but there were people, coming in, and they were some people were praying, some people were probably looking around judgmentally at what other folks were wearing, because WWJD. And I didn't say it loud, but it was in a church, so it like echoed. Like I was like, "Puck." Like that's how I said it, like "Puck." But then it just like, so it was just like "Puck, puck, 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 puck." Like that's what it was throughout the church. My mom was not happy. My mom was pissed off. Yeah, I still remember how angry she was. She didn't even ask me how my finger was on the car ride home. She didn't even say like, "Hey, you're my child and your flesh was burning an hour ago. Are you okay?" Still scared of fire, folks. Still kind of scared of fire. That started a lifelong fear of fire. I'm like the Hound in Game of Thrones. I'm afraid of fire. I still have a hard time lighting a match. I mean, I'll do it if I have to, and I'll use like a grill or something. It's not like, and I'll sit around a fire. I can maybe saying I'm like, I guess I'm not deathly afraid of fire, clearly, because there's all these things that I'm fine doing that I just mentioned. But I don't like lighting matches. Don't. It might be why I never became a smoker. At least not cigarettes. I don't like using lighters. I mean, I'll do it if I have to. I don't like doing it. And I think that's why it took me a while. I mean, even pot, I didn't really get into pot until college. And I think that might be part of it. I think part of it is the first time I tried it, I didn't like it. I was in the 7th grade. And I think one of the other reasons might be I was just so afraid of fire that any reason to be around it, I just was not feeling. I was not jiving. And it all goes back to one Easter many years ago when I burned my finger. But yeah, happy holiday weekend, I guess, for everybody. If you get a holiday weekend, I guess a lot of people don't. I try not to be one of those people. I mean, I would be considered either an atheist or an agnostic, depending on how you arrange those terms. You know what I mean? So that's just where I'm at. I'm part of the church if I don't know, and neither do you. So let's just be nice to each other. But I try not to be like that person when people are like, "Oh, have a good holiday." Well, I'm an atheist. Like I try not to be that guy. You know what I mean? Like I just don't, because you still have a holiday. Like you still, even if you don't believe in anything, you still have, like, I will still go. Like if I was in my hometown, I would be spending today with my family and enjoying their company. It doesn't matter that I don't believe in any of this stuff. Like I would still enjoy, just the food and the family and the comfort and the love. And that's what's most important anyway. So it's like you still, I mean, I remember one time I said to like, it was after the winter holiday. It was after the new year. And I was like, "Hey man, how was your holiday?" And everybody's like, "Well, I'm an atheist." I'm like, "Yeah, but you still, did you not do anything in the holiday?" No, I hung out with my wife's family. It was great. We had a great time. Okay. So you could have just said that. Like, I didn't ask you. I didn't say, "Hey, what are your beliefs?" I just said, "How was your holiday?" I knew, and this friend in particular, I knew we've talked shop before. So it's like, "Yeah, I know you're an atheist, dude. I'm asking you how your holiday was. You could still have a holiday." You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I try not to be one of those. I mean, I'll tell people if they ask. Like, it's not like I'm not hiding from anything, but I don't. If you ask me how my holiday was, I can just say, "Oh, it was nice. I had a nice meal." Like, I don't need to be like, "Well, I don't believe in this stuff." Like I don't, you know. So anyway, I hope everyone has a nice day. And think of Ron's burnt flesh. Think of it. It was so. It wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, my thumb was kind of shitty for a while. My thumb was, but what are you gonna do? All right. So, oh, I want to do mail. So this is check this out. I had this here. I don't want to show the person's return address, but this is from Charlotte Burns in Massachusetts. What's up, Charlotte in Massachusetts? And thank you for this. I've had this for a minute. I just kind of forgot to do some mail stuff. They made a comic based on, here, check it out. This is Jeff Bezos. There's Jeff Bezos. And some of y'all know Bezos is Surveilling Your Town, the parody song that I did around the holidays because there was news broke that Bezos was surveilling that Amazon Ring was surveilling different environmental groups. Great. So instead of Santa Claus is coming to town, I did Bezos is surveilling your town, and somebody made a comic about it. You know, here, let me see if Hi, Ron Placone. Every year I make a political cartoon as a Christmas card, and this year's was inspired by your Jeff Bezos Christmas song. Thanks for giving me a great idea. I'm a huge fan of yours, and I'm a fan of Jimmy Dore, and I'm a fan of Graham Elwood. Hope the long arm of censorship doesn't catch up with you. Yours, Charlotte Burns. Thank you very much, Charlotte. Thank you very much for that. And hey, I'm streaming at you today. I'm streaming at you today. So thank you for that, Charlotte. I appreciate it very much. Also, this is from Mima, aka Michelle, and her book, We're All Criminals. Michelle is a patron who recently got her theme song. I made Michelle's theme song. I hope you dig it, Michelle. You messaged me, you told me you did. And thank you for the book. I look forward to reading it. It's a crime series that she does with a vigilante named George Hernandez. I look forward to diving into this. I got a couple books on my repertoire. One of them is by a friend of mine who is dying. You know, it's that's part of life. And I have someone who I became friendly with recently, actually, Steve Davis. He's a punk rock bass player. He was on the show before. You may remember him. He is dying. He has cancer, and it's gotten pretty aggressive, and he's in hospice. But he just recently published his memoir, so I'm hoping to read it and have him on the show. You know, have him on the show again, and you know, of course, hopefully, he still has some time. Which, you know, that's heavy. That's a heavy sentiment. You know, I'm hoping to read this guy's book and have him on the show before he's no longer with us. But that that is part of life. So I got that book on my repertoire, and then yeah, and then I'll probably dive into yours. So thank you for that. Thank you for that book, Mima, aka Michelle. And I am glad you enjoyed your theme song, which, by the way, if you're thinking, Ron, you make theme songs for people, how can I get one of those? I'm catching this live. Well, patreon.com/Ron Placone. For a Give What You Can level, you get the replay of this stream and all patron streams. You get a patron Zoom show once a week where I do a Zoom show just for patrons. And you can get your theme song. You just message me. You tell me what you want in it, and I write your theme song. And then I pump it out, and I post it for all the Rockfin premiums and all the patrons. So you can all get your own theme song if you are a Rockfin premium member or a patron. And to become a patron, again, patreon.com/Ron Placone. How much does it cost, Ron? It's a Give What You Can level. I know times are tough. And if you're not on stable ground, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. But if you're on okay ground, you're on stable ground, and you got a little bit you won't miss each month, and you think that'd be cool, I'm going to give that to Ron. I'm going to get my own theme song. Do it. Even $1 a month goes a long way, folks. Goes a long way in keeping this show on the air. All right. You know. So let me take a look at what y'all are posting. Oh, this is cool. So, Nina, thank you for sharing this. Nina says, I'm sure this will be pretty stale news by Sunday. Not in my world, Nina. This is not stale news to me at all, actually. But Biden's $100 billion for universal broadband is noteworthy. Yes, it is. Unfortunately, based on the actual outcomes of most of his promises so far, it will probably turn out that by broadband, he means an entire network composed of old soup cans and strings. That's funny. So far in the infrastructure package, and I'm still looking into it myself and still learning about it myself. But I'm going to cover it more extensively on the show probably this week. Probably this week we're going to take a deeper dive into it. But for right now, Nina, and everyone, in the infrastructure package, which overall I think it's safe to say the infrastructure package is nowhere near enough. It underdelivers by a lot. I think it's about 2.5 trillion. It should probably be in the arena of about 10. It delivers way too little, and Republicans will probably fight what little is happening. And that's how politics works in this country. We keep ricocheting to the right and to the right and to the right because Democrats, whenever they get power, they're a right wing party themselves. So they'll start from a point of compromise. They'll be like, okay, this is already way too little, but here's the too little we want to do. And Republicans will say, well, even that, we can't let that happen. We're going to be the bad cop here. We're going to reel this in, say you have to do even less. Democrats will say, okay. And that's how it goes. It just goes like this. Like it just goes this. It'll go to the right. It'll start here, go to the right. And then it might be like, boom, and then but to the right again. And then boom, and then to the right again. I think it's called the Rashid effect. And that's United States politics. And what I just described has been the case in this country for the past 40 something years. So anyway, the infrastructure bill overall grossly underdelivers, as I mean, honestly, should be expected. Let's be real. But the broadband part is looking like a win. Again, I still got to take a deeper dive into it, but I've read a few articles so far. It does call for, as Nina points out, $100 billion, and it prioritizes cooperative-owned networks and municipal broadband, according to what people have been writing about so far, as far as what's in the bill. That's good. And I'll tell you who's been criticizing it so far, who's been not happy about it, Big Cable. Big Cable does not like the broadband part of the infrastructure bill. That's a good thing. If they don't like it, that means it probably actually does what it's supposed to do, which is put internet access back into the hands of we the people. $100 billion would go a long way in municipal broadband all across the country. I don't know if it's enough for everything. I don't know. I mean, that's tough. You'd really have to break down the math on that. But I think it's safe to say it would go a long way. And if it's legit that cooperatives and municipal owned networks are going to be prioritized, which that's what apparently that's what's in the bill. I've not looked at the bill itself. I've just looked at people writing about the bill. I've looked at a few articles on Ars Technica, this article from The Verge, and it looks like it's a broadband bill that prioritizes municipal broadband and city-owned networks and cooperatives. That's a good thing. That's a win. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening here. And I'm going to do a deeper dive into this this coming week. I guess technically this week. Does your week start on Sunday or Monday? That's always a fun question. When does your week start? Does it start on Sunday or I'm kind of like it starts on Monday, but unofficially Sunday. Like it kind of starts on Sunday. See, my wife at her day job, she works Sunday through Thursday. That's when my wife works. So I try to mirror her schedule to the best of my ability, and I try to work Sunday through Thursday as well, so we can kind of have the same time off. It doesn't always line up perfectly. I mean, sometimes there's stuff I have to do on Friday and whatnot, and that's fine. But for the most part, I try to mirror her schedules to the best of my ability. That's why a lot of times I do these streams on Sundays, and But yeah, I think I'm one of those. The week starts on Monday, guys. I'm one of the. Although I mean, hey, as a comedian, usually my weeks start on a Thursday. Usually, like when I was on the road, usually it's like the first show would be Thursday night, and that's how your week would start. So, but anyway, so thank you for that, Nina. And then you go on to, what? I gotta pull this up. I forgot to do a share screen here. But you bring up that there used to be vinyl record players for cars, and I did not know this. Here, let me pull this up. Then here, let me pull it. This is interesting. Oh man. All right, let me pull this up. We're gonna dive through this here. I never knew this was a thing. Sorry, I forgot to. Again, folks, I am early today because I had an urgent matter pop up, so I cannot stream at the regular planned time. So I'm just kind of running at the seams, figuring this out. But check this out. Hi-Fi Wi-Fi. Is it showing right? There we go. We're good. Hi-Fi Wi-Fi, the revolutionary vinyl in your car tech that failed. No shit. Early cars were mostly A to B carriers. This is from Auto Evolution, by the way, shared by Nina. Early cars were mostly A to B carriers, so comfort wasn't a major concern until luxury cars became widely available in the 1920s. But even so, mobile radio technology didn't become commercially viable until 1930. It was still expensive, though, with the first radio units costing one third of the price of a compact car. Isn't that crazy? And people used to gather around. No, I don't want your notifications. Um, People used to gather around the radio. And this has come from a guy who loves the medium of radio. A lot of you know that about me. I love just the spoken medium. I've always loved it. I sought it out. I grew older, like even in college, I sought out community radio. I wanted to work in radio. That's what led me to comedy. Was I wanted to do radio. And now it's kind of come full circle in a way. I mean, this is kind of modern day talk radio. And I don't, I mean, honestly, the video part of it, I don't really care for. I kind of would rather, I kind of like just doing an audio podcast, but the YouTuber thing is a good platform, and so it goes. But anyway, AM radios eventually became a standard feature toward the end 30s, while AM FM unit scan function arrived in the 50s. While having an in-car radio was a big thing, drivers were at the mercy of radio DJs for music. So car makers and audio companies started looking in ways to incorporate mobile players for physical media. They were ahead of the curve. So back in the 1950s, LP records were the only physical sound storage medium. Vinyl became common in the 40s, right. A technological breakthrough, vinyl made music easier to listen to and, more importantly, to own. Naturally, the first attempts to introduce in-car audio systems were made with vinyl records. Chrysler was the first company to go through with it. And so is this what it looked like? Is that a record player? How would you All right. How would you do a 33rd and third? Okay, so developed by Peter Goldmark, the man who developed the Microgroove 33 and a third RPM phonographic disc, which we all know is a vinyl record. He introduced this in 1956 as the Highway Hi-Fi. The technology. Oh, so here's a better picture of it. Check it out. Well, that looks like a 45, doesn't it? So maybe you could only play 45s. Maybe it tells us. All right, the technology was a bit different than the usual record player, and it was actually incredible. It was designed to play at half the speed of regular LP record, and the disc featured twice as many grooves. Oh, so he made like a record meant for the car. While regular records were able to store 45 minutes of audio material, Highway Hi-Fi vinyls allowed 1 hour music per side. That's a full 2 hours in total. So this probably is what eventually led to the CD. Is that a fair? Maybe not. I mean, yeah, but it sounds like, because I mean, eventually with the CD, they kind of just compacted it further, and then it was kind of a newer technology. Anyway, I'm not an expert on this stuff, and so it's pretty cool though. So the bigger capacity of the Highway Hi-Fi vinyl was ideal for car use. Changing a big vinyl while driving was a no-no. So with Highway Hi-Fi, drivers could enjoy 1 hour music without having to make a stop and change the side. But like most in-car features, it was very expensive. The record players were optionally available for various Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, DeSoto, and Imperial models. They were priced at $200, which back then that was a lot of money. That was more than 10% of the cost of an entry-level model for most brands in 1956. So that'd be about $1,700 today. So that's a sizable add-on. That's fair. Oh, and I guess there weren't a ton of titles to choose from. There were only so many. All right. Interesting. Oh, so capitalism kind of fucked this up, folks. Check this out. You couldn't listen to any music you wanted. So regular LPs didn't work. It was a special kind of LP. So these special vinyl records were made by Columbia Records based on an exclusive deal with Chrysler. So they were like the first Walmart exclusives, basically. Except it was these deals they made these deals with the car company, and those were the only vinyl records you could get to play in these cars. That is badass. That is pretty freaking cool. Well, cool story. I mean, it's not cool that that's the way they did it. And it sounds like that probably ruined it. Maybe all of their exclusives sucked. Maybe it was all just really shitty and people were like, I'm not going to pay extra for this. So it was a revolutionary flop. The high sticker price and the limited music catalog weren't the highway hi-fi's only issues. The players weren't very reliable either, of course. And once they stopped working, owners had to go to the dealer since the technology wasn't available outside Chrysler circles. So, gee, it almost sounds like capitalism completely killed this thing on every level. They wanted to have exclusive records because they could only accept certain kinds of records. So they had deals with the car companies because they wanted to make as much money. It was an expensive product because, well, it's going to be an expensive product. And it wasn't all that reliable because they probably skimped on quality to save a buck or two. And then you had to take it to the dealership because, again, it was a relatively exclusive thing. Interesting how that works. Tell me again how capitalism breeds innovation. Give me that story one more time. Give it to me. I want to hear it. It's a funny story. It's a good story. And by good, I mean not accurate. That's what I mean by good in this case. Capitalism breeds innovation. Here's an example of how it killed a technology. Here's something we were developing that, nope, just fell by the wayside. We had all this exclusivity, which made it more difficult for consumers. It was expensive because, heaven forbid, we try to produce it for everybody. It's got to be an elite thing. And we could only have certain music. We had to make these deals where everybody made as much as possible. It's like capitalism has all these little daggers just punching the actual innovation, just stabbing it, just be like, well, we got to stab it here. We got to stab it here. We got to stab it here. Capitalism doesn't breed innovation. Capitalism kills it. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, thank you for sharing this, Nina. And that is cool, though. They could add vinyl in your car. Vinyl in your car. That's fascinating. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. And also, Michelle, who thank you again for the book. You share this, and you said that this might interest me, and it looks like it does, just kind of looking at the headline here. But let's go ahead and bring it up and see what it says. See what it says. Check this out. Michigan is now offering free college. Michigan is now offering free college tuition. Here's how to apply. Governor Gretchen Whitmer on Tuesday, this is from February, so this is a little while back, launched Michigan's largest effort to date to pay for college tuition for residents 25 or older who don't have a degree. The $30 million Michigan Reconnect program will pay the cost of tuition for eligible adults who want to pursue an associate degree or skill certificate at their in-district community college, or a $1,500 scholarship to be used at more than 70 private training schools. An estimated 4.1 million residents are eligible for the program. To qualify, students must meet the minimum age requirement, have lived in state for a year or longer, and have a high school diploma, but not a college degree. This is cool, but isn't it interesting how hard we just shit on young people in this country? How hard we just shit on the upcoming generation, Gen Z, and what's after Gen? I guess Gen Z is what's now. They know nothing except for late stage declining capitalism. They know nothing else. They know nothing but Reaganism on steroids. They know nothing except for war. They know nothing except for decaying climate. The idea of investing is just, wow, holy shit, except for the really rich. They can't even, they're just hoping to get something when they get out of school, if they're lucky enough to go to school. It's unbelievable, the low quality of life we've saddled them with. And then you unroll this free tuition and you're like, but only if you're over 25. It's like, why not unroll it for everyone? I mean, this is good. Obviously, I'm not trying, but why do you have to be over 25? Why not unroll that to everyone? Hey, free college is coming to Michigan. Bunch of 18-year-olds. Oh my God, this is so awesome. I might take you to, well, once you're 25. 25 or older. Why not everyone? I don't get that. Why not everyone? But I wonder if it says. Let me see if it kind of says why not everyone. They go on to say all Michiganders deserve a pathway to a good paying job, whether they choose a college degree, technical certificate, or an apprenticeship. I agree. Shouldn't that be all adults, though, not just people over 25? Michigan Reconnect will connect thousands of Michiganders to good paying jobs and connect businesses with the talent they need to thrive in their communities. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. That's good. That's cool. I mean, anything to make higher education and training and stuff like that more accessible to people who want to have it. That's good. I'm for it. But that's interesting. I was like, hey, young people, we're not screwing you over enough. We're gonna give people older than you free college. You getting ready to graduate high school, worried about your future? Sorry that you missed out on all the amazing things that you'll never be able to recreate. You're not getting a prom. You're not getting senior year. You're not getting, you're going to spend your senior year online. You don't get a prom. You don't get, and then you get shamed, by the way, if you're sad about it. You get shamed for being, do you guys remember? I mean, Dr. Phil, who I don't watch, but I remember when this first started, the pandemic is this I'm referring to, and they had Dr. Phil on, and he goes, "Oh, you young people, I know you're really, but come on, buck up. It's not that big of a deal." Like this guy who comes from a generation that had it way better than the current one, way better. Oh, come on, there's people that lost everything. There's people, and he's right, by the way. He does have a point. There are way more people are going through a lot of significant hardships right now, and there are more significant hardships than not having a prom. I totally get that. But dude, do you really need to shit on young people who are sad right now? You're really going to shame them for being sad that they're missing out on all these things, and these aren't things that you can just make up. These are things that it's like it's a blip in time in your life, and once it's over, it's over. And you're going to shame them for being sad? Why? How about you shame big corporations who are making record profits through exploitation, through bailouts where they're screwing over people anyway? Why don't you shame them instead of 18-year-olds who are sad they don't get to go to a prom? And they're not saying that no one has it harder than them. They're not saying that, they're just sad. They're allowed to freaking be sad. Like, what the hell? And then people called that very adult of Dr. Phil. Like, no, he's being an asshole. He's being a total asshole. He's being a condescending jerk to young people who are hurting right now. And yes, there are other people hurting right now in other ways that are even more significant. Yes, you're food insecure, you're housing insecure. But these kids are allowed to be sad that they're really missing out on a lot of special moments in life. They're allowed to be sad by it. I mean, Jesus, come on. Jesus, who showed up again today, apparently. And I really hope I never become like that. I really hope I'm never like that. I actually love the younger generation. I'm so inspired by Gen Z, and I think they are going to. I can't wait until they take over. In fact, honestly, as a millennial, I volunteer, like, we'll give up our time at the reins to just let y'all take over. I think that's the right thing to do. When you look at members of my generation and you see folks like Pete Buttigieg and Joe Kennedy, it's like, you know what? We'll just pass the baton to you. We'll just help you out. We'll just help you. You're going to take over. We'll help out. We're here for moral support. And every generation has its, good elements and bad elements. There's a lot of boomers that are awesome. There's a lot of boomers who have been anti-war activists for years and years and generations. And I love y'all. Y'all are awesome. There's also some boomers who are true pieces of human garbage and have helped create the society we have now, which is quite a shitty one. They're the architects of it. There's also Gen Xers who are just disconnected limousine liberals. There's also Gen Xers who are freaking awesome, made some phenomenal music. There's some millennials who are total shitheads and some millennials who are freaking, every generation has awesome and not. There's some Gen Zers who are doing amazing things, who are turning against capitalism, who are learning more, who are embracing knowledge, who are adapting, who are fighting for their planet. There's other Gen Zers who are eating Tide Pods. Every generation has its good and its bad. And then what happens is people get older and sometimes they get cynical and they try to pretend like their generation was perfect. Yours wasn't. No matter what your generation was. You weren't perfect. You had good elements and bad elements, just like every generation always has, just like every generation always will until the end of humanity, which hopefully isn't soon. Hopefully, that's gonna be a long, long time from now. Long, long time. Long after we're all dead. We're all dead. All right. So, anyway. Yeah, the time I don't know if you guys remember that clip of her. I mean, it was a while ago. And you're like, "Ron, we're all Dr. Phil enthusiasts. We don't miss an episode." But I just remember, I was like, "Why are you and people were celebrating it. They're like, "He's right. He's right, children. Just go." It's like, that dude, what are you proving right now? Did you have to miss your prom because of a pandemic? No. No, you didn't. Because unless your prom was in 1918, you didn't. And anyone whose prom was then, they're probably not still alive. Pretty sure they're not still alive. How old would that make a person? Yeah, there's no one that old, I'm pretty sure. Because if you were 18 in 1918, you know, I mean, what's the oldest? Somebody lived to. Well, I guess I can just Google it. Now I'm curious. What is the oldest? Let's see. Oh, dude, there's the oldest person to ever live. There was Jeanne Louise Calment, died at the age of she lived till a buck 22. Jeesh. 122 years. Man. All right. And she's from France. My grandma made it to 101. So the oldest living people are 118 years old. There's someone who's 118 right now. So I'm pretty sure their prom would have been after, right? No, wait, actually their prom might. All right, so unless you were so potentially Kanye Tanaka had a prom during a pandemic. So Kanye, and I think Kanye, I'm probably mispronouncing it. They can say, "Hey, young kids, buck up." Uh, but everyone else is like, why do you have to be an asshole? Why do you have to be? You didn't have to spend your high school and college years during a pandemic. So the people that are, they're allowed to be sad. They're allowed. It doesn't mean they're being insensitive to everyone else. They're just being, yeah, you guys get it. I made the point. But 118. I wonder if they'll pass up the buck 22. That person's name again is Kane Tanaka. Lucille Rendon also buck 17. Francesca Salsa buck 16. Jeanne Bott buck 16. Man, looks like everyone's a female too, I think. Or is that person here? Hold on. Let me see. I'm actually not sure the gender there, to tell you the truth. Let's see if it says. Yeah, it's female. So she would have been 20 years old in 1923. So her prom would have been in 1921. So her prom would have been just after. Presumably her prom would have been in like 1921. But that's amazing. She's Japanese, and she's the oldest living person right now. Third oldest verified person and oldest verified Japanese person ever. Wonder if she'll do the show. I'm sure she's just chilling. I think if you make it to 100, you never have to do anything ever again. I mean, you should just get to do whatever you want once you make it to 100. You should just like, I don't think you should have to do anything. Like, you shouldn't have to pay taxes. You shouldn't have to like, you should just be like, I'm 100. You should eat for free. Just like walk into you're like, I'm 100. Now, my grandma would always lie about her age. She would always, she'd be like, I mean, we which my grandma was an amazing human, and rest in power, grandma. I'm very fortunate to have had her as long in my life as I did. Because again, she made it to 101. But I remember like even towards the end, when she was mentally with it until the end, which is pretty incredible. I mean, she still read the newspaper every day up until she was about 101. And so she would read the newspaper, get pissed off about what's going on in the world, and then kind of forget about it and then read the same shit and get pissed off again. And it kept her going. It kept her young. But she we'd be I would go to visit her, whenever I was in town in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I'm from. And I'd go visit her, and she'd be there looking around her facility, and she'd be like, "Yeah, there's some old people here." Be like, "There's some old people here." And she'd point to like the other lunch table, and she'd be like, "That's where the old people sit." And they were probably like 20, 30 years younger than her. She'd be like, that's where there's some old people. And you'd play along. You'd be like, "Yeah, grandma, there's some old people there." One time she tried to escape, which is, I mean, come on, you gotta laugh. I mean, you got to. It's like, but she tried to escape like the facility. Like she tried to get out. And I think she was like 99 at the time. This 99-year-old woman. Hopefully I got those genes, right? I mean, I like the world. I like being here. I hope to be. Some people, they say, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I want both. I want it all, baby. I want to be here. I'm here for a good time. That much is for sure. But I hope to be here for a long time too. And I hope to do some good in that time as well. That's my thing. I'm here for a good time. I'm here for a long time, and I want to do some good while I'm here. In no particular order. That's just the way. That might be too many characters. But anyway, I don't know. Can I tweet that? I probably should. But yeah, she tried to escape one night, and the only thing she took a framed photo of my grandfather, a Pittsburgh Steelers blanket, and I think a water bottle. And she tried to escape. She didn't get too far. I think basically she got out of her room, and they were like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I think she told them to get out of her way, and she might have swore. And they said, "No, we can't do that. Sorry." And then they put her to bed. But she did try to break out, Thin Lizzy style. I don't know if anyone else was in on it. I don't know if she had like a decoy going on. I guess apparently not, because she didn't get far. But she did try to do that. Yeah. So anyway, sorry. I thought Lucy's on her cat tree. Lucy woke my wife and I up with a hairball today. She said, "There's an urgent thing that you need to attend to. Let me get the day started." And so she had a hairball, which I, of course, always panic whenever that happens, which it does just periodically happen. It's part of being a cat. But I'm like, what if she's sick? What if something's wrong? What if something's not right? What if something? And then she's like, "Give me breakfast." And I'm like, "Okay, you're fine." So anyway, but that's just how you get. That's just how you get. Let me go to the chats over here. Alexander, what's up over on the Rockfin? You're saying you're late. You're not late. I'm early, and I apologize for that. For anyone who's tuning in a little later, and you're thinking, "Ron, what's going on?" I had an urgent matter pop up that I will not be able to stream during the regular time, which are regular scheduled time for all the Rockfin Premium and Patreon members who get the newsletter. We were supposed to do this at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Something came up, so I'm doing it now. And so for those of you who maybe you're seeing this later on the replay and you were planning on catching it live, I apologize very much. I am sorry. So yeah. Everything Revolution, what's up, buddy? Did you get my email? Maybe if I didn't get back to you, I'm sorry. I get back to emails as quickly as I possibly can, and I do respond to people. I used to be one of those people. I would respond to everyone no matter what. Admittedly, I'm not that guy anymore. If somebody just sends me just a straight up hate-filled email, I just don't respond. I'm sorry that that's the case, but there are times where I will get emails and I will say that there nothing positive could possibly come from me responding to this. So I'm not going to. So I don't respond. I mean, and I think everybody is that way. Some people just lie about it. There's some people who say I respond to every single email. I doubt they actually do. I doubt they actually do. They're just kind of, I mean, and I've responded to negative emails. Like, there's been emails that were critical of me that I've responded to, emails that were even insulting that I've responded to. But if it's just a straight up, I mean, sometimes you see an email and you go, There's nothing positive that could come from me responding to this. And I'm not going to. But Everything Revolution, I know you. We've met personally. So I know that's not the case. Obviously, I would respond to any email you sent me. So I might not have gotten to it yet. Feel free to send it again. Uh, so yeah, feel free to send it again. So if you didn't hear back from me, I've likely not seen it yet. Or if it involves a extensive response, maybe I'm still thinking of a response, but feel free to just send it again. So send that email again. Our punk band flyer was used in the Wonder Woman movie 1984. No shit, really? I would have remembered this if I saw it in an email. So no, I didn't get your email. Um, which does happen sometimes. So it sounds like I did not get your email. I feel like I would have responded to that or remembered something like that. If you're like, oh, the Wonder Woman movie used our punk band's flyer, that's what I would remember. So yeah, I don't think I got it. Everything Revolution. And also on a side note, I hope to see you in Gainesville sooner than later because hopefully we're gonna get on the road this fall. I'm thinking that there's a chance. That I think there's a good chance that we're going to be on the road at least a little bit this fall. So fingers crossed. We're not out of the woods yet with this pandemic. We're really not, but hopefully live performance comes back. And yeah. So anyway, yeah, email me again. Everything Revolution. Please do send me another email, please. Which is the name of one of our songs that we played in peak same year, 1984. That's cool. The band Anti-Flag also has a song called 1984, and just for the record, it is actually my favorite Anti-Flag song. It's an acoustic song, and I don't think it's a song they do live often. It was kind of a more obscure track, but it is my favorite Anti-Flag song, even to this day. I mean, they've released some great music since that song came out, but I think that is my favorite song, the band Anti-Flag. Um, and I actually told their singer Justin that the first time I met him. I met him. He's from Pittsburgh, just like me, and I'm pretty sure that band still lives out there. And I met him once at an open mic night. Actually, he was just playing some songs, hanging out, and I was doing some jokes. I was a newer comedian at the time, and and I met him. He actually told me he liked my set, and I said, "Well, hey, man, I know who you are, and I'm a fan of your band." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just working on some acoustic stuff." And I said, for the record, I my favorite song of your band is an acoustic one. 1984 is my favorite song by Anti-Flag. So that's funny. And by the way, he is one of the most requested guests for this show. And he's a busy guy, but we have been messaging back and forth, and I'm trying to get him on the show. I've been trying. I just feel bad. I don't want to, it's one of those things you want to be persistent so people don't forget, but you also don't want to nag them. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to toe that line. And there are times where people will contact me about different things, and it's something that I can't get to right away, but I will say, please remind me. And when I say that, I'm being serious. Like I am saying, please nudge me again. Like, please, because I don't want to not get to this. I just can't get to it right now. So please nudge me again. And when I say that, sometimes I get one extreme or the other. Sometimes people either think, oh, he doesn't really want me to email him again. And no, I do. If I say that to you, I mean it. I wouldn't bullshit you. If I'm not interested in something, I will just say that. But if I say, hey, this looks interesting, I'd like to get to this, please nudge me. Please feel free to remind me. And then people do. And sometimes people don't. They're like, oh, he doesn't want me to email him. Or sometimes they're the other extreme, like, oh, he means I should email him every couple hours. Not what that means. So you gotta find you gotta walk that line of like occasionally remind somebody. So anyway, I'm trying to get Justin Sane from Anti-Flag on the show. But I don't wanna nag the guy. We were in touch. He's like, hey, get in touch with me. Um, But yeah. So hopefully eventually I just bump the microphone. I hate it when I do that. Hate it. It's so unprofessional. So unprofessional. Which, so does going at a random time is also unprofessional. Ron, you're also like over an hour earlier than you said this was supposed to happen. I'm sorry again for everybody who this might have inconvenienced. I apologize. Lana, what's up, Lana? I like that name, Lana. I really like it. I wrote a song when I was 19 years old, and the song was called 15, and it was about when I was 15. I wrote a song looking back at my youth when I was 15 years old or 19 years old, excuse me, about being 15. It was a dumb song. I'm not going to go through it at all. It's not, I mean, but anyway, uh, I reference a girl in that song, and the name I use is Lana. That wasn't the girl who I'm referencing in the song. That wasn't her real name, but I use the name Lana because it's just a name that I like. I like the name Lana. I think it's very pretty. Maybe if I ever had a daughter, I'd name her Lana. I don't know if I ever will. I'm maybe leaning towards no on kids. Like I'm not a straight up no. But I'm not. I mean, it's not going to be anytime real soon, and it's not something that I really am really in. You know what I mean? Anyway, but my wife's kind of the same way. I feel like if one of us took the reins, then that would get the other one. You know what I mean? Like if my wife was like, I really want kids, I'd say, yeah, okay, let's do it. And I feel like if it was the other way around, same thing. Like if I said to my wife, I really want kids, I think that's I just think I'm ready for that. And I think it's what I want to do. It's what we should do. I think she'd be on board. She'd say, yeah. But both of us are just kind of like, yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not totally close to the idea, but I mean, yeah. Right now, it's just my wife and Lucy, and it's the three of us, and we got a nice little thing going. It's it's like okay, yeah. So anyway, I feel like as the years go by, if we're both still shrugs, although one thing I have been pretty militant on, folks, is if a certain amount of time goes by and my wife and I decide that we're not going to have kids, like we're not going to go that route, or if we do go that route, we'll be a little older, so we would try to adopt or something like that, which is a route I think I might want to go anyway. But anyway, if we decide for sure we're not going that route, I'm going to get the snippety snip. I've already decided I'm going to get the snippety snip, so we won't have any issues. Yeah. Anyway, Lana, as I babble on and on about your name and got into a side tangent about whether or not I'll ever have kids, maybe I should get to your question. Hey, Ron never answered my question, but he likes my name. Ron went on about my name. I feel like some people probably have that story from meeting me, and I apologize if that's ever happened to you. I apologize in advance. It was not on purpose, but I could totally. I met Ron Placone, and I asked him a question, and I don't think he didn't mean to not answer it, but then he found out I was from Detroit, and he just started gushing about how much he likes Detroit for like an hour. And then that was it. He never answered my question. I think he might have been stoned. I might have been, or I totally might not have been. That's something I would do sober or not. That's just, so if that's ever happened, I apologize. Feel free to ask the question again. I wouldn't see it as rude. It'd be like, yeah, Ron, like he I asked Ron a question, and then he found out that I liked hockey too, and he just kind of started talking about it for like 45 minutes. And then, yeah, like Ron, I asked Ron a question about politics, and then he noticed the band t-shirt I had on, and it's someone he listens to as well. So then he just babbled on about that for like a long time. If you guys remember when Rosie Tran was on the show, I brought her on the show to talk about cryptocurrency. And she, and after the show was over, she said, "Thank you, Ron, for ranting about music and cities." That's oh, and I'm not from Detroit, by the way. Some of you guys are saying I didn't know. I'm not from Detroit. I just like the city. I mean, I travel a lot, And so there's a lot of different places that I have a lot of affection for, and Detroit is one of those places for a lot of reasons. I've been to the Allied Media Conference before, and I've performed in Detroit a fair amount of times. And by the way, we'll be back there. That's another place, Detroit. Hoping to see you this fall. But anyway, Lana, I'm gonna answer your question. Did you see Ford versus Ferrari, Ron? Yes, I did. I enjoyed it. That was a good movie. Yeah, that was a cool movie. So it was about they wanted Ford to make the nicest car, and Ferrari wasn't on board. Yeah, I did see that movie. I enjoyed it. I don't remember all of it because I saw it. I guess it was maybe a month ago. How long ago was it? It was probably longer than that. With these quarantine days of ours, it all kind of blurs together because you just kind of do your thing, and you're consuming more content. Like my wife and I, we will. Here was a first. So yesterday, I did a set on a comedy show. I wasn't headlining; I was just doing a set. But I did a virtual comedy show with Flappers Comedy Club, and the show, for whatever reason, was at 5 p.m. It was an earlier show. Uh, so it was the first time in my life where I did a comedy show and then watched the sunset from my apartment. And I'll be honest, it was kind of cool. I actually kind of liked it, if I'm being honest with you. Like, I kind of dug it. Like, I enjoyed. I'm like, in a way, this isn't the same. This isn't as fun as being there in person, but it's kind of cool that I'm like just at home looking at the sunset and just did a comedy show. Um, there's some things that I don't want to see change. You know what I mean? Like auditions is a big one. And I know this is kind of insider baseball, and I know some of you might not be into that sort of thing, but you can apply it to any type of gig or whatever. But why do auditions need to be in person until at least the callbacks? Like the first round should totally just be. I have loved the fact. I mean, I don't get a ton of auditions to tell you the truth, but occasionally I'll get them. Usually it's for a nerdy IT guy, which is ironic because I'm terrible with tech. But um, I love the fact that for the past year they've all just been self-taped. I love the fact that I can just, before I do Get Your News On with Ron, I can tape and submit an audition. I love that. Before, you're driving all over freaking Los Angeles, you're dealing with parking in Hollywood, you're waiting in a crowded room where everyone's just looking at their phones, and then you go in for like a minute and a half and you do your audition. Why does that need to be I mean, at least have. I mean, I know like sometimes you want to see how the person performs under pressure, but it's like people are going to memorize their lines. Like people are going to do their job. Like, otherwise, they wouldn't have gotten this far, you know what I mean? So it's like, if somebody flubs a line at an audition, which I've done before, I've done that. I think a lot of people have, but I've totally done it. I had other shit on my mind. I had, quite frankly, more important things going on than this, bit thing that I didn't really care about, to tell you the truth. And I brain farted a line. And I mean, I still just delivered it, but there was an awkward pause, and it was obvious that I brain farted a line, and I knew I wasn't going to get the part, which is fine. But it's like everyone's done that. Everyone's flubbed the line before. If somebody flubs a line in an audition, it doesn't necessarily mean that's who they are. Like, oh, you're a professional liner. Like, you're gonna get it anyway. All right. So you get the idea. But yeah. So there's some things I don't. Live performance, obviously, I can't wait until that comes back. And the Zoom shows are fun, but they're not the same. They're nowhere close to the same. It's just being in the same room. It's not the same, and it's nowhere close. People who make it out like it's the same thing, they're delusional. Like, it's not the same, but it's a lot of fun. It's better than nothing, and it has its place. What I'm thinking might end up after this. Do I dye my hair? No, I do not. I never have, actually, to tell you the truth. This is this is what the good Lord gave me. But so anyway, and ironically enough, neither of my parents have red hair. I think it's like a recessive thing. I think like I think one of my grandfathers had it, maybe. But anyway, so I think what might end up happening after all this, once we can tour again, Grandma Oda and myself, once we can go on the road again, which I can't wait until that's the freaking case. Um, I think what we'll probably end up doing is maybe once a year, we'll do a big end of year virtual show where we'll probably live stream it from a club, but it's meant for, because here's the thing. Um, Myself and Graham and Jimmy and Lee Camp and, those types of comics, more politically minded comics, we do a lot of topical material that you're not going to see the following year because it's not topical anymore. Typically about a third of my set will just be over the following year. And every year, it's not like we tour in every single place. That's not physically possible, right? Like, I'm not going to England every year. I'm not going to Scotland every year. I'm not going to Canada every year. I'm not going, you get the idea. And first I'm going to go to the US because we canceled an entire year's worth of tour dates in the United States. So we're going to reschedule that and perform in the United States first. So, and now that we're starting to do more worldwide stuff, we're probably not going to tour the US every year. We're going to just tour different parts of the world each year. So my point is, we're not going to get everywhere every year. So what I think might happen in the future is, if we don't get to your part of the world in a given year, we're going to do a big virtual show where it's going to be live streamed from a club where there will be an audience. This is when live performance comes back, by the way, is what I'm talking about. But it'll be an opportunity for anyone who we didn't come to your town. It'll be an opportunity to see us for the year, because next year it's going to be a different show. You know what I mean? So I think that might be the future. In the future, we might do, after touring is over for the year, we'll do one big virtual show um, for that year, because, you know, if you're into seeing what we're talking about, check it out, because next year, none of that material is going to be there. You know what I mean? So anyway, all right, you get the idea. You get the idea. So thank you, Everything Revolution. Please send me that email again. Thank you, Lana, and thank you to Michelle, and thank you to Nina, and thank you to Charlotte for the comic. I appreciate it very much. But thank you, Nina. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for your patronage. You help keep the show on the air. Thank you to all the patrons. Thank you to all the Rock from Premium members. Oh, and if you're catching this live, and of course, thank you, Everything Revolution and Lana, for your super chat contributions. And if you are catching this live and you're thinking, Ron, I want to be a patron so I can see the replay of every patron stream, and I can get my own theme song, and I can see a Zoom show once a week, which, by the way, I'm going to be continuing those after the pandemic. I do a Zoom show every week for patrons. I'm going to continue that because, hey, we're all over the world. Why not do a Zoom show every week to just kind of hang out? Those are going to continue. If that's all of interest to you, patreon.com/Ron Placone. For a Give What You Can level, you get all kinds of exclusive perks, including a Zoom show once a week, a patron stream once a week, and I will make you your own theme song. And that is all for a Give What You Can level. Even $1 a month goes a long way. So if you're on stable ground, please do consider. If you're not on stable ground, don't worry. But if you are and it's of interest, patreon.com/Ron Placone. Please stay safe, everybody. Stay safe, stay well. Sorry again about the time switch. I hope I didn't inconvenience anyone too much. But thank you all for your patience and your understanding. Thank you all for your support. I cannot do the show without you. The show would not exist without you guys. I need you, and I appreciate it very, very much. If Easter's your thing, happy Easter. Happy Passover, if that's your thing. Happy day, if none of those are your thing. Live and let live. Peace and love. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you tomorrow. And in the meantime, you know the drill. Oh, and tomorrow will be regular time, by the way, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Unless I tweet otherwise, it'll be a regular Get Your News On with Ron. And in the meantime, Lucy, she says meow. She's on her cat tree. I'm pointing to her. She's sleeping. She's napping. I'll get her to say hello. Why not? All right, hold that thought. Lucy's going to say hi. Lucy, come here. I know. You're on. You get to do a cameo. Yeah, how about that? Oh, look. Be careful. Don't knock over Daddy's coffee. Oh, yes. She's a little sleepy, but she wanted to say hi. She probably didn't really want. She was probably indifferent. But Lucy, she says, see if she does it. She won't do it. I was saying, wouldn't that be awesome if she meowed? And I said, Lucy says meow and she meows. She won't do it. She knows. She knows. She's like, I'm not gonna dance for you. What do you think this is? What, you think I'm gonna meow just because you're doing your little send off? I'm not your monkey. I'm not a monkey at all. I'm a cat. What do you think this is? Lucy just put me in my place. Y'all saw that. Y'all witnessed it. She knows. She knows. I'm petting her under her chin right now. I know it kind of looks weird because like my arm is just in the lower third. It just looks weird. It's like, is Ron going to show us a puppet? What the hell is he doing? No, I'm petting my cat. But Lucy says meow. Regularly she does. She's not going to do it now. She knows. She's like, I'm not going to dance for you. What do you think this is? You woke me up from my nap. Now you want me to perform? Piss off. Fair enough, Lucy. No, she's purring, actually. She's happy. Aw. But Lucy says meow. And I say peace. Peace.